Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Happy live chat. Happy Charles Schwab Challenge week. This time is yours. We'll spend the next hour or so going through as much of this field as possible or whatever you want to talk about. Get your questions, your concerns, your comments in the chat right now, and we'll do just that like we always do. I don't think I have anything special to say. Let me just get you started. I'll roll us in to a couple of talking points here. First and foremost, back to the strokes. Strokes for the folks is the new tagline for our listener league. Still $25,000 guaranteed, still $25 entry, still a very solid flat payout structure, but we are back to using strokes. So pick one golfer from each of 6 tiers. Your top 5 scores count, and it's just strokes relative to par. So when you're sweating on Sunday and you're like, oh, I don't know what I need, you do now. Okay. You need a 2-shot swing or whatever that might be. About 300 spots or so left in this, which I need to add some more of mine in. And we still have, oh my gosh, 16 hours or so. So this is going to fill up pretty darn good. Make sure you get your entries in. The link is in the description. The weather forecast in Fort Worth. Listen, I don't try to be a weatherman. I guess I do kind of try. This looked a lot worse when I checked it out the other day. Monday, maybe. It was like pretty much rain in the forecast every single day. I guess there's still a small chance of rain, and you can always get those kind of summer thunderstorms that dump a bunch, but this looks pretty good, or at least a lot better relative to what I was looking at the other day. For our purposes, like the Thursday, Friday splits, the wind is down all day Thursday. The wind is basically down all day Friday till maybe Friday at 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock in the afternoon. It only gets up to 9 miles an hour. So not really concerned there. This looks like it is going to be idyllic scoring conditions. Idyllic scoring conditions for this week. It's going to be warm, probably going to be pretty humid. Yeah, I was expecting more rain in the forecast. I guess we'll see if those thunderstorms pop up. The other thing that I like to get us started with is the projected ownership of one and done from the boys over at Pool Genius. So they have one golfer in the 4 bubble category. That's 15% or more projected ownership. That right there is Justin Thomas. Then you've got Ricky Fowler with 3 dots, along with Alex Smalley and Robert McIntyre, then Akshay, Ben Griffin, Russell Henley, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of interesting. It's a weird week, right? So I get why JT is as popular as he is. We'll probably talk about him quite a bit. I don't mind the Fowler, Smalley, McIntyre contingent. A little bit surprised to see Russell Henley at 4 to 7%. I think he's going to be higher than that. No shade on the Pool Genius guys. They do a great job. I think he's going to be higher than that. Just probably the golfer I've come around on most this week with course fit, course comps. I probably was unfair to him on Monday. I imagine he's going to be a lot higher. I think JJ Spawn's going to be higher than what they project, 1 to 3%. Going to be higher than that. Ludwig is probably your, I mean, we'll talk about this, but if you're front running, I don't mind if you just want to drop the Ludwig hammer here. Might be a little bit premature, not premature, but like might be a little bit of a small spot for him, but I think it's close enough for it not to matter. All right, let's get to your questions, your concerns, your comments. What do you think of Rio versus Mac Meisner this week? Like them both, but still probably Hisatsune week for me. Like the way that he slings a draw, like the way that he can get hot with the putter, like the way that he has a very solid tee to green floor that we've got back outside of that little slump. And I like the fact that he finished T6 here last year. You're going to see a lot of guys who finished T6 here last year. I swear it was like the most popular finishing position, but you're going to see a lot of that. He's gained strokes putting in both of his trips here, 3.7, 1.7 in 6 rounds. That's as good as it's going to get for me. So as much as I like Meisner, still probably Rio. Sitting 7th in a 24-person one and done, who would you choose between? Smalley, JT, or Ricky? Well, 7th out of 21. So you're in the top 25% or so, 33 to 25%. You could probably just play JT. you could probably get away with any of those guys. They're going to be probably the three most popular golfers. So yeah, probably just JT. I think is fair. Akshay and Putnam or Harman and McCarty. Ooh. Akshay and Putnam. Thoughts on Eckroat this week? He's awesome from those approach buckets that you mentioned on Monday, and he rarely misses right. Yeah, okay. So a couple of items here. So the course key stats, which just straight up uses the shot link data from the last handful of years and puts values to it, right? That's what it does. Finds that a right miss here is pretty penal. Missing the fairway in general, not great, but missing it right significantly worse than missing it left. Eckroat, I think he's played a lot better the last couple of weeks. There was definitely something. What was I seeing? Oh, okay. This is what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of this run here. T9 at the Valero Texas Open, 6th at the Zurich, 19th at Myrtle. And Craig Ranch was the first time he lost strokes on approach dating back to the American Express. So he's usually a very good approach player. Did find a little bit of a putter, though it's not always his issue. I think this is a pretty good spot for him, right? I don't think he's going to lose a stroke ball striking again. That would be a pretty much of an outlier for him. It's going to be his 4th trip, mixed bag. Has winning upside, also has seborrheic dermatitis. I can see it on his face in this thing. And I know that because I do too have it. Look how red he is in the face. I get that too. You see it right around my nose and my chin. There are procedures for that. So yeah, I mean, we should both be sponsored by like La Roche-Posay or whatever. Anyway, looking for value down the DraftKings board. Anything positive to say about Dan Brown, John Perry, or Nico Echeverria? Ooh, okay. We might have to look into all of these guys. So let's do Dan Brown first. Then we'll do John Perry. We got time. What am I doing? I'm just sitting around doing this for a living, so I might as well just go into all of these guys. Let's see. Are there positive things to say about Dan Brown? The answer is his last two have been his best two, and I like the way that he hit it at the Byron Nelson. It's a small positive. Has he played here before? No. Okay, so we're starting with a very small positive, not a lot there. Let's try John Perry. Think you're going to get a little bit better results, but not a lot of upside. Yeah. Okay. So John Perry still has not missed a cut this year, which is great. His last missed cut was in October on the DP World Tour. That was the India Championship. That was in October. And that was his last missed cut. So that's a pretty big positive. Has he played here before? No, he hasn't. And then Nico's the one that has like the winning upside, a multiple time winner on the PGA Tour. He's the one that you would play if you want to win all the money. The big negative is he's been dismal. The tee to green numbers, horrendous. Ever since the win, which is not unusual. It's not unusual to see a guy win, take a sigh of relief, and start playing poorly. Now, this is very, very bad. It's hard to describe how bad this is. So I think we go John Perry pretty much in the number 1 spot, Dan Brown 2, Nico 3, and you would need to be like pretty desperate, willing to take on a ton of risk for Nico to capture the upside. I've been getting crushed in one and done. Smalley, Henley, or JT? Are JT and Henley save worthy? All right, well, where would we play these guys otherwise? JT, I'm a pretty big believer in. You could play him anywhere. Henley, where are we going to play Henley outside of here? Well, Harbor Town is already behind us. Is he going to play the Wyndham? Might honestly be kind of too big for that. Are you going to play him at a signature event or a major? Probably not. Is he going to play a lot of events outside of those the rest of the year? Probably not. His best places, so Sedgefield I mentioned, that we don't know if he's going to play there. Waialae, that's past us. East Lake, you're not going to play him at East Lake. PGA National behind. Okay, you could play him at River Highlands. That's it. I think those are I think your choices are now or River Highlands. And because that's going to be a signature event, you're going to have a lot of options. So I think it's Henley here, JT elsewhere. And I'll just circle back on Henley because I probably gave him a bad rap on Monday. I don't know. There was just something that I was looking at this, like, this just doesn't feel right. And, I'm not a real feel guy. Looking at the data. Well, no, that's not true. The data, the last 3 weeks of approach or the last 3 starts have not been good. Now, they haven't been horrendous, but I don't like to see my guy, Russell Henley, one of the better approach players historically, struggling there. I don't like to see that. But I understand that he still has great results. He still has high-end finishes in big events. I know that this is probably one of the weaker fields he's going to play in. And he's got a decent run here, or at least last year, T16. And he's probably got one of the best course fits when you look at the course comps, which are Highlands, Sedgefield, Harbortown. He's a crusher. So I get that. And I think I've come around on him more this week than anybody else. I have Zach Boshu trending for like 7%, I think, 7.7% at $7,200, coming off his best finish of the year. And that's saying a lot because he's had a lot of decent finishes this year, a handful of top 25s, a complete gain at the Byron Nelson, where he almost pitched the perfect game. And, you know, it's just been getting a lot better. And you saw a lot of him on TV at the Byron Nelson, and he played well. So it was nice to see. I know Henley will be discussed early and often. I think so. Currently 9th in the Rick Run Good. Wow, nice. With only one orange shirt ahead of me. I assume you're referring to Russell Henley. Is that what color he's wearing in his headshot? Yeah, I think you have to play him, Mike. I'm not thrilled that he has lost strokes on approach in 3 straight. I'm not thrilled about that. But your position, he's what? Second shortest odds. He's got one other good spot in which it's going to be a signature event. I think you gotta play him. I think that's right. Matt McCarty deep dive. Couldn't find him in your email newsletter. I see what you're saying. So here's Matt McCarty. I did list off some lefties in there. I did not purposely omit Matt McCarty. I was just going off the top of the head. So I'm a buyer of McCarty. Now, I've been buying McCarty for the last couple of months, and it's been awesome. The only bad performance that we've had from him was the miscut at Aronimink, which admittedly we can forgive, right? You know, to miss the cut at Aronimink, a very difficult golf course, after rattling off 4 consecutive top 12 finishes with really strong metrics, I think we can forgive. The fact that this place is a little bit more of a precision spot off the tee, that helps McCarty. And then he turns into a really sound ball striker. He's pretty evenly split, but he does miss to the right more than he does miss to the left. However, on a rate basis, he's better than average on both of those. So not the end of the world. Hey, Rick, I'm 88 out of 1,500 in a splash one and done. That's pretty good. Smalley or JT leaning Alex? I'm a believer in JT, right? So just to do the JT thing. A historically elite ball striker who has gained strokes putting in 8 straight ever since he switched flat 6. Okay. I would use him. Hell, I'll use him at a major. I'll use him at a signature event. I'll use him in the playoffs. I'm pretty high on JT. So that being said, if you're already leaning Alex Smalley, and I think there's other spots to play JT, and that's your only other option, then I guess you're playing Smalley. My models are showing Sam Ryder near the top. What am I doing wrong? I imagine you're probably, I don't know, you're doing like a lot of putting. He's been a lot, or short term. Look at what he's done. So not a good start to the year. Last 4, and actually, it's, you know, when you're modeling, it's going to be the last 3 measured, so it's not going to include the Zurich. So his last 12 rounds, he has gained like 10 strokes on approach. He's been a positive off the tee. He's been positive in every category. So if you're short-term modeling with approach play and putting, which you probably are, Sam Ryder's showing up. I mean, look at what he's done here. Great approach numbers, not very good off the tee, not very good with the putter, but this is a lot better than I would have anticipated for a guy who's only $6,900. Love the left to right miss on your email. If you're not signed up, you're missing out. Yeah, I mean, literally the email's free, and I don't spam you. You know what I hate? I swear the unsubscribe button like does not work anymore. I have tried to unsubscribe from. I get an email from the Los Angeles Angels like every day telling me what the game for tonight is and what I need to know for tonight. That's great. I'm not that big of an Angels fan. I don't care. I've unsubscribed from it like 75 times. It just never works. So I've had to start writing filters in Gmail where now I just filter everything out. So now if the Angels actually did want to send me something that I cared about, I would not receive it because I'm already filtering it out. So I've got like 90 filters running. It's crazy time. Anyway, I send you one email a week. Sometimes I send you like twice a year, I send you a second email because it'll be like March Madness or something like that. But you're only going to get like 54 emails from me a week. Probably not even. You're probably going to get 48 emails from me a year. And it's absolutely free. So yeah, you should definitely sign up. Currently in a tiers league and struggling to pick out players that have not shown any form going into this week. Is it that kind of crapshoot season, or is it time to weigh course history or fit more? It is kind of that time of year, right? It is kind of weird. We are starting to see some guys find form. Jackson Suber, we're starting, he's at his best 2 starts in his last 2. Boshu's starting to find form. Ryder's starting to find form. So what you could do is go really, really recently, like 8 or 12 rounds. I think we're in that time of the year to be doing that. Doug Gim, did I have him in my $200 entry lineup, or did I have him in like a top 40 or something? Last couple weeks, he's played a lot better. This is vintage Doug Gim. Great tee to green, struggling with the putter. You're going to get that from him. But the results are pretty good. 31st, 19th, and 6th at the Zurich, and then 30th before that at the Texas Open. Probably another guy who's playing his best golf of the year right now. It's not great. This is it's a weaker field, but yeah, like I like where Gim is going. Can Sneds keep the recent resurgence going? Seems like this would be his type of golf course. Probably true. Can he keep it going? That's the question. Probably not. The win. Okay. He missed the cut at the PGA Championship after his win. I'm not going to fault him for that. He missed the cut at Aronimink in general. Not going to fault him. The week after a win, not going to fault him. The win itself was losing strokes off the tee, gained 3.5 on approach. That's great. But then the rest of his strokes, so to get to 13.5, 3.5, not even 3 came ball striking, and 10.5 came from the short game categories. That's not sustainable. And you can see that. He had actually another very similar short game outlier at the Valspar, where he gained 10 strokes in the short game categories and he finished T18. So even if that happens, even if he does get this ridiculous outlier short game week again, which is probably unlikely, that alone does not even guarantee he's going to have a good finish. So I'm sorry, Sneds. I do not see it for you. Thoughts on Alex Smalley's mom packing his lunches and if it would be a negative effect of him winning golf tournaments? Seems to be working well. Any thoughts on Tom Hoagie this week? He looked pretty good. Yeah, he's actually looked pretty good for like 2 weeks, I think. Vintage Hoagie is approach. He is accuracy, approach, and putting. So let's see if we're getting that right now. Well, we got the 7.2 strokes on approach at Byron Nelson. We got the 4 with the putter. And the dude still missed a ton of putts, which he's going to do because he gives himself so many opportunities. +1 at Aronimink on approach and +4 with the putter. Similarly to those other guys that we talked about, this is the best, probably 2 starts of his year right now. He, first off, he's played 4 times since the Zurich. This dude plays every single freaking week, doesn't he? Now he goes to a golf course that is probably better for him, almost certainly better for him than Craig Ranch was, right? Because you get a little bit of a boost in accuracy. His results here are not as good as they should be. He's been dismal on the putting surfaces here in his career. So that gives me a little bit of pause, but not enough for a guy who's sub 7K to be super worried about Tom Hoagie. Thoughts on Ricky this week, or is there a better spot to use him in one and done? I've been high on Ricky for a while, so I'm not going to stop now. Is there a better spot to use him in one and done? Probably not, but I mean, the problem is, so like Muirfield Village would be a good spot, right? But you're not going to play him at Muirfield Village with like Scotty and Rory and all those guys. And then everywhere else, we're kind of done, unless he's going to play Detroit, which I guess he would because he's Rocket guy still. So that's the only other opportunity, I think. So I think it's now or Detroit. And if he does play Detroit, which I guess he would, if he's still a Rocket guy, he's going to play Detroit. He might be the favorite there. That might be a really weak field. So you could save him, but those are, I think, are your only two options. Boshu or Woodland to finish higher? Probably Boshu for me. Do you like back-to-back good performances by Jaeger? Let's find out. Didn't Jaeger like kind of punt himself out of it a bit on Sunday? Am I imagining that, or am I accurate in that statement? Let's find out. Didn't punt himself out of it, but he lost strokes to the field on Sunday and finished T9. It's pretty sustainable. It's a good profile. The only thing is we haven't gotten like 3 good profiles from Jaeger in a row in a while. Not to say it can't happen, but he's usually like a 1 and done, 2 and done kind of guy. But it's a good profile. What's he done here? Missed cut 68th, but he hasn't played here since 2023. Let me just see. Sprays it all over the yard, sprays it in both directions. I don't even know if this is worth looking at because he's one of these guys that when it clicks, it clicks. I don't even know if I should be looking at this. Pretty high risk, high reward, I think. I'm not super thrilled, but I obviously like it more than Snedeker. I like it more than maybe some of those other guys that we talked about recently. Who else? Like Doug Gim. I like it more than I like Doug Gim. That's probably pretty fair. That's where I would slot in Jaeger. Are you ready to fly up and away with Superman? First off, that's pretty good. And yes, I think I wrote him up for PGAtour.com this week. If I didn't, I meant to. But yeah, so I mentioned it. The really young kind of raw player, where his last 2 starts were his best 2. It pitched a complete game at the Byron Nelson, and he gained 8 strokes on approach. This is all enough to sell me here. He's played here once. It was 53rd. It was last year. That's enough. I'm taking pretty small stances on sample sizes, which might also apply to Johnny Kiefer, which is Justin's question here. The Kiefer thing is it's just 1 start though. So while some of these other guys are having their 2 best starts of the year, Kiefer's is just 1. It was fantastic. This is going to be a little bit of a different golf course for him. But he went to Baylor, which is in, where's Baylor? Baylor's not in Fort Worth, is it? I know TCU is. Where's Baylor? Baylor University. It is in Waco. How far is Waco from Fort Worth? Oh, it's only an hour and 20 minutes. I guess it doesn't really matter. But God, I want to be in on this. He's a very good driver of the ball, which is what he's done all year long. He struggled on approach, but he's starting to iron that out. Very risky. Very risky, in my opinion. I think I probably like him more than Jaeger, though. If we're just continuing the ranking system here, I think if it helps out, I think I slot him in higher than Jaeger. Are you looking for someone? Looking for someone low owned to help make up ground. Is it Spawn or Batia? I think it's Spawn. JJ's been one of the better tee to green players on tour this year. That's not even an exaggeration. So everybody in this field with at least 10 starts from tee to green, I bet you he's like number 2. He is 2 behind Ludwig. We just need the putter. And he's flashed it at Quail, flashed it in TPC San Antonio. If he gains 2 strokes with the putter, he might win. He gained 1.5 last year and finished 6th. So I think he is more likely to win than Akshay is. Do you factor in, this is what I was just trying to do here with the Ludwig. Okay, so it says, do you factor in college tourneys played at Colonial for players that haven't played there on tour? So I assume we're talking about like, Ludwig and Kiefer and, where Thor Bjornsson, did he play there in college? Like, where do we draw the line, right? How far back do we go? Hoagie probably went to TCU 15 years ago. No, I don't, because it's a completely different competition. Obviously, the setup is going to be completely different. And I wouldn't know, like, if I can't just apply it to Ludwig, right? I'd have to apply it to like everybody who has played there in the last, whatever, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And I don't know if I have that available, or if that is available. So no, did not once cross my mind. Who's your favorite option under 7K? There was a lot, right? I mean, we kind of rattled off a bunch of those guys. So let's see here. Hoagie is, I think Hoagie and Ryder are fine. I would not mind either one of them. Suber is probably my favorite. He's the cheaper guy, $6,600, and he was great last week. Hayden Springer, I'm not ready to give up on. He had like the best miscut you could have last week. Misses the cut on the number by bogeying the last hole, and he lost 3 strokes. He gained 3 strokes from tee to green in 2 rounds. Yeah, definitely love that. Those are probably my favorites, Suber and Springer. I wouldn't mind if you played those other guys. Favorite Southpaw, McCarty is on the short list. Trying to think. So be like Akshay, Harmon, McCarty. Hold on, I know there's more. Oh, McIntyre. Yeah, McIntyre is pretty good. All things considered, McCarty. Just in a vacuum, McIntyre. I think it's his turn again, and Little Ricky wins. What do you think? Or does Smalley Ben Griffin get his first individual? Well, hold on. Ben Griffin has an individual win. Ben Griffin has won this event. So maybe I'm misreading this comment. Griffin has 3 wins, doesn't he? He won in Napa? Won somewhere in the fall. He won this event, then he won Zurich. I think all of these guys are fine. I probably like Smalley and Ricky more than I like Ben Griffin. I would throw the dart throw on Ryder over Hodges. Fantasy lineup is Rogers, Spawn, Woodland, Yellow Miraju, Homa on bench. I could get Novak, Putnam, Castillo, Kiefer, Poston, Kirk, Ramey, or many more off waivers. Thoughts on what to do? So you're starting Rogers, Spawn, Woodland, and Yellow Miraju. So I need to find somebody who's better than them. I would probably swap out Rogers for Kiefer. And then you get Kiefer the rest of the year. Feels a little bit better. I have to miss this for a work call. Why don't you just quit your job? Why would you do that? Your model and my model, your model and my model have different inputs, but both have Tom Kim and Andrew Putnam pretty high up. I wanted to see if you buy into that. So I do buy the Tom Kim stuff, and I'll look at Andrew Putnam in a second, but I know off the top of my head that Tom Kim's profile is getting a lot better. Last 2 weeks, he's gained more than 12 strokes on approach. That is a really good sign for Tom Kim. Tom Kim historically is very accurate, and he's very accurate again this year off the tee. He's like, 26th in driving accuracy. We just need to not lose 6 strokes putting, which should be pretty easy to do. He's a good enough putter. He's not that bad. So yes, I'm in on Tom Kim. Andrew Putnam, I'm going to need to take a deeper dive at. Let's look. He's going to lose a couple strokes off the tee because he's short, but he's very accurate. Is he going to give himself enough opportunities? Probably not. What's he done here? Yeah, I like Tom Kim a lot better. Putnam's not bad, but I like Tom Kim a lot better. My betting card, which I'll remind you, you should not bet and you shouldn't care about. I'm going to spend my money however I want. I'm not going to spend yours, and vice versa, right? But I have JJ Spawn and Alex Smalley and Max Grayserman. 31, 33, and 62 to 1. I'm just rolling with my guys. These are guys that I've invested in a lot this year, or maybe not Grayserman, but Grayserman more recently. And I'm not stopping anytime soon. I have backed up the Grayserman number with like top 10s and top 20s. Sudarshan top 20, Suber top 20, Boshu top 20. But the big three with the outrights are Spawn, Smalley, and Grayserman. Top 50 in the Rick Rungood one and done down to Fowler, Smalley, and JT. You can do anything, but probably, gosh, if I really think, if those are your three options, you should probably play, if you want JT for Travelers, play Smalley this week, play Fowler at Detroit, and play JT at Travelers. You should be proud of being top 50 of the one and done. What should the roadmap and strategy be for the remainder of the season for someone protecting a spot in the money? Yeah. Protecting a spot in the money, like, you know, playing defense is always a little bit scary. I would say you can kind of straddle this a little bit, right? Like, you don't have to take the most popular player, but you should probably be taking one of the top 3 favorites. Like, for example, this week, what if you played Robert McIntyre? He is not significantly less likely than Justin Thomas to win. In fact, he might be more likely than Justin Thomas to win. And he's probably going to be lower owned, but you're still getting one of those guys and you're not worried about saving Robert McIntyre for anywhere else. So I don't know. This really depends on your goals, Dan. Like, if your goal is to just protect the lead, maybe you just play the most popular guy every single week that you have available and roll that way. But I think you can still live within, because golf is so golf is so crazy that any one of the top 3 or 4 favorites who's going to be popular, like, I think anyone is going to be fine for you. Leading a one and done with 40 teams, Spawn, JT, or Ricky need to save some PGA talent for just play Spawn. I don't know where that question is. Did Smalley, we did McCarty. Let me look into this, Doug. It comes from I was messing around with this earlier. It comes straight from the PGA Tour. Going forward, will you be doing a core 3 or 4 in your preview videos from the comment I left on Monday's video? If I can remember. Honestly, I just get into my groove and roll from there. What would your core 3 or 4 be this week? All right, I got to think about this, because if I was going to core cascade, let me think about this. So Grayserman at 7,900 for sure, because he would give us a lot of flexibility. Let me just make sure there's not anybody else down here I want. So, okay, so Grayserman. Probably Smalley, 91. And then probably, would I just go get Ludwig? And then if I was cascading, I could swap down to Henley and McIntyre and JT. Might do that. So probably Ludwig, Smalley, Grayserman would be a really good starting point, I think. Finau is a little bit too risky for me to core him. I think that's pretty, and maybe Suber. Maybe if I did that, you get Suber at 66, you get Grayserman, you get Smalley, and you get Ludwig. I don't know what that leaves you with, but you could also swap down from Ludwig, which would be interesting. 22 hours later, Mark has not changed his pick as far as I'm aware. Hello, Mina. Pick 2 out of 3. Cootie, Meisner, Smalley, kill Cootie. This is interesting. 2 and done. cumulative strokes season long, JT or Smalley. So hold on, let me think about this. Cumulative strokes. So which guy is more likely to get under par here compared to something you might play him in later? Well, gosh, cumulative strokes is so different. I guess you take Smalley here. And then JT being able to separate himself a little bit more, probably at a bigger event. I don't, that's a really difficult one. Is Ludwig okay for one and done if you're in the middle of the pack? Apparently. So Pool Genius has him at one bubble, 1 to 3%. I know it's a small purse, but if you're giving me the favorite, 10 to 1, who is pretty much the significant favorite, right? I mean, the next closest guy is Russell Henley at 20 to 1. At 2%, probably taking him. Oliver is, thank you for asking. He's doing okay. Oliver's getting old. Oliver's got some issues. He's actually at the vet right now, but he was home last night. They're just getting him back into shape. He's doing better, but it wasn't great yesterday. He's been a little down in the dumps, but he's doing all right. We're going to go pick him up later. Round 1, top 10. Akshay, Sahith, Rio, or Hideki? What do we think? Sure, I like him. Why can't Brian Harman win this week? I always love like the reframing of the questions, right? Like make a case for, make a case against. I kind of do like that. Makes your brain exercise a bit. Why can't Brian Harman win this week? My silence is deafening. I'm not sure he's good enough. So I'm staring at a profile where he's lost a ton of strokes off the tee in his last 6, but I realize that, you know, his accuracy here is more important, but I'm also looking at Harbor Town where he lost 3 strokes off the tee. And I'm like, well, what did you do there? Why did you do that? And then I'm looking at his approach play and it's positive, but it's like it's not positive enough to win. You know, it's very hard to win. Like if you just go to the Holy Grail and you go to everybody on the PGA Tour this year and you look at the winners, look at how many strokes these guys gain on approach. Okay. 4, 6, 4, 4, 1, 2.5, 2.7, 7, 6, 6, 7, 1, 6, 6, 10, 5, 6, and then 2 measured rounds, half, and 0. You can't just like, it's really hard to win gaining 1 or 2 strokes on approach. So I don't know. Just like the math doesn't add up. I don't know. I guess it's a better spot for him. I just don't think he's good enough. Paul Peterson deep dive. I think we did a Paul Peterson deep dive last week, didn't we? Paul, he's very short, very accurate off the tee. I don't know if he can do anything else. Let's find out. Okay. I think this is what I said last time. I think I was like, oh my God, he gained 6 strokes on approach at the Colonial. So this is, we've got Korn Ferry shot link data now, right? The PGA Tour is doing that. So I think we're 2 events in. I think we have 2 events worth of Korn Ferry Tour data since they started doing this. So Paul Peterson has 1 start on the Korn Ferry with data, and it was a great week. 6.3 strokes gained on approach. And then he followed that up with 3.5 at the Byron Nelson. That is interesting to me. He really struggled putting. They were new greens. He's not that bad of a putter. I mean, I want to be very cautious saying this. Like, the bar is very low. Paul Peterson's almost min priced every single week, and he's $6,300 this week. So I'm going to say, like my baseline for Paul Peterson is not caring about him at all. This week, I'm like, okay, if I needed somebody at $6,300, Paul Peterson would be interesting. Oh, thank you, Cody. Are you still using the jailbird? No. I'm a problem. So I'm currently now using the weight of the jailbird was a little heavy, but I still like the face of it. What I'm using now is the Spider. I think it's the Tor X Spider. It's the big one with but it's the blacked out version with the long white line, which I need the long line. And I like it. I will tell you this. It's not as forgiving as the jailbird. The jailbird I could hit at any part of the face and I felt like it was the same. But the Spider's not that as forgiving, but I'll tell you what, when you square it, when you hit it off the middle, it rolls better than the jailbird does. So you have to be a little bit more exact, but it really rolls beautifully, and I like the way it lines up. I'm in the hunt for your one and done. Is it better to fade ownership and go with Harmon? Oh, no. Harmon, Woodland, or an Akshay, or go with a higher floor of JJ. You're the one in the hunt. You've done a great job this year. I would go with JJ or Ricky. Those other guys, man, I don't know. I get emails from block senders. It's crazy. I don't know. During a tournament, what is the best way to find players that are gaining an advantage by cutting dog legs? Oh boy. The best way you don't have access to, which is the shot link system, would show you that. I suppose you could do that in the Tourcast as well. I outside of that, I mean to literally cut dog leg, like during the event, I don't know. You'd have to Tourcast it, I guess. The way to figure out, like, could they cut dog legs, I think is a little bit different. You could probably go for like apex height and look at guys that hit it high. So if you're a high long hitter, like Ricky Fowler's probably long enough, but Michael Thorbjornsen is definitely long enough, and he hits it 120 feet in the air. He's going to be cutting dog legs. Ludwig is going to be cutting dog legs. Rio, yes, and especially on right to left. Ben Griffin, that's what he did last year, right? He's kind of on this list too. So that's the way that I would. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not showing my screen. I really apologize. So this is what I was showing you. I was showing you the Holy Grail stats page. Apex height is what I was showing you. That would be interesting. You could also look at distance to apex, which is, this is also kind of crazy. This is how far out, like how far the ball is when it reaches its apex. So the way that this reads is Rasmus Højgaard hits his apex at 206 yards, which is crazy, but it's a lot of the same guys. So it's, they're not doing radically different ball flights like ultimate frisbee or something. But I think those guys are probably the ones to figure it out. Henley, Xander, and Young have committed to the Rocket. Oh. Do you have shot dispersions on Rick Run Good? So there's on all the profile pages, there is off the tee, left and right tendencies. You can also go to the radar page. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. And you can generally see it here. This is drive dispersion. You could, like, if we pull up, like, who would be like Alex Noren. this is Alex Noren's drive dispersion. You can just look at balls that have missed the fairway, right? Just balls that are in the primary rough. Just never misses left, always misses kind of right. So yeah, there's a couple ways to do it, but it's on there. Oh, do I have any stats on Yob Mun? I doubt it. Where has he been playing? I have a page for him. I don't have anything in 2026. I only have the Saudi International, which is in November. So I don't have anything from this year. I do not have a finishing position parlay this week. I do that when I'm in Florida because Hard Rock lets you do anything. So I'll do that next week. I'll be in Florida next. I'm flying to Florida on Monday. Smotherman. The concern I have with Smotherman, well, I guess it's two things. He's played here 3 times, and like the tee to green play and the approach play is horrible. What I liked about Smotherman to start the year is that he was like a team no putt guy, ball striking great, horrible putting. But now he's lost. Now he's lost a lot of strokes on approach in the last 2. So now I'm a little bit worried. So probably going to pass. How is what's the best way to live bet golf? All right, so there's a lot. I actually just made a video about this for Scratch. So the last year I've been making videos for Scratch where they're kind of like longer form topics, and then they put it on their page. If you have any suggestions, please let me know because I'm running out of ideas. But I just did one and I just submitted it. They have not posted it yet, but it kind of covers that, like head-to-heads and what to look for and stats to use, like all that stuff. So, I mean, it's like a 12-minute video, I think. So, I'm not going to reiterate all of it right now, but hopefully they'll post that soon. Sungjae is the guy that I don't understand the most this week because the results are okay. This should be a good spot for him, but I don't like it when my Sungjae has lost strokes on approach in 7 straight. I do not like that. In fact, I hate it. So I'm just going to pass. And if Sungjae wins this golf tournament, good on you, mate. Probably not going to be for me. When the rain is coming this week, do you value approach or putting more? Approach. Because they're almost certainly going to go to preferred lies. And then that tends to be a pretty big advantage for ball strikers. What's wrong with Ryan Gerard? Short game's busted. So start of the year, good ball striker, and then look at this, plus 2.3, plus 3, plus 1.8, plus 1.2, plus 4, plus 1, good short game stuff. It's gone. Around the green and putting. See ya. Just very clear. Over the last 20 years, there have only been 18 guys to successfully follow up a second place finish with a victory. Tiger, Rory, Scotty, yada, yada. Concerns for picking Smalley and one and done? No, because it's a pretty useless stat. Because one, you have to finish second anyway. I mean, you could say, I'm sure the numbers are the same of like, hey, the last guy how many guys finish, follow up a second with a T9. It's like, okay, we're just like picking 2 values. Does it matter that the T2 was not last week? Like, is this back-to-back weeks? I don't know. And if you're picking Smalley and one and done, I guess you don't technically need him to win. If he were to finish second again, that'd be pretty good. I just don't like these type of trends because they really don't mean anything. Will you be at the Memorial on Sunday? No. I will be at PGA Tour Studios doing a betting show, a betcast. So we're doing a betcast Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day long. And actually for the first time next week, they're doing a Tuesday live show. So I think it's just me and Jeff Eisenband, I think. So like I'm getting a hell of a lot of TV shine. I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern. Don't quote me on this, but it's going to be live on ESPN Plus. It's going to be in the studio. I don't know the details of it, but it seems like it's going to be pretty sick. Yeah, I guess I didn't really do the deep dive into Grazerman, and I just kind of like gave him the like the nod. Gained 11 strokes on approach last week. T9, T14 at the PGA, T31 at Myrtle. Playing his best golf of the year, and I think his best golf is better than a lot of the other guys' best golf. I mentioned this on Monday, but 11 strokes on approach is his best approach week of the year, or I'm sorry, of his career. The third best of his career was this event last year. So I'm hoping that he just flushed it for 4 days and he shows up at a place where he's flushed it before and he just continues to rock. I slightly prefer Tom Kim over Austin Eckroat, but I'm not going to beat you up either way. 7,400 or 7,000, or favorite golf between 7,400 and 7,000. So that would be Tom Kim, Yella Miraju, Boshu, Kiefer Perry. Probably be the list. Okay. I'm basically at the end of the comments here. Yeah, we did the Perry deep dive earlier. 15 out of 15 cuts is pretty wild. Yeah, the Springer miscut was not fun. I'll tell you that. He hit in the fairway bunker on 18. Okay. I think we're going to do it. I think I'm going to go eat lunch, and I'm going to wish you guys all the best. The links for everything you need are in the description. Best of luck, y'all. I'll talk to you guys soon.